Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 4-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated so you don't miss any content that I upload. Thank you to everyone that has supported so far, whether it be leaving a comment of your home run predictions or leaving a like on the video or tweeting at me, liking my tweets, all of the above. Thank you to everyone. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. Last night we had a little bit of a funny incident because my home run call was Jake Cronenworth. He ended up not being in the lineup. He came in as a pinch hitter and he went deep. So unfortunately, I'm sure none of you played him because if you did, you were banking on him being a pinch hitter, which isn't exactly the smartest idea, but he was in a good spot if he was going to start and he had a home run. So I guess you could say I nailed that one last night, but we're going to move forward and try to give you another home run call at the end of this video. And if you are interested, check out my premium content link below in the description. I have a lot of good stuff going on there. It's really going to help you become a profitable MLB DFS player. I really do believe that. If you're playing every night, I think it's well worth your investment. I think you're going to make your money back real quick on what you're investing into it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. As always, we like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K-rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. The top guy on the slate in K-rate is going to be Mr. Trevor Bauer, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Has a 30.4% K-rate overall, 12.5 swinging strike rate, a 32.6% K-rate against righties, and then a 28% K-rate against lefties, and is the clear-cut top option on the slate today. Not even a question. I mean, you factor in the matchup. There is no Vegas lines released yet. I would expect that Trevor Bauer is going to be a very heavy favorite in this one. And the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers strike out as much as they do, I really am going to like him in this one. He comes down at $11K on FanDuel. On DraftKings, they got him priced at $11.3. So you're going to pay up for him, but for very good reason. I mean, the Brewers have been striking out a ton. He has the top K rate on the slate by far. And I'd expect him to be a heavy favorite. So he's going to kind of have everything that you're looking for in a daily fantasy sports pitcher, all bundled into 1-2. So Trevor Bauer, top option on the slate, no question, hands down. Get him in your lineup and feel confident about it. Adbert Alzolay, second on the slate, comes in with a 28.9% K rate overall. The ground ball, the fly ball stuff, he has a little bit of a walk issue. The hard contact rate's been pretty good, though, especially against right-handed hitting. He has a 36.1% K rate overall. Against lefties, he's really been struggling, a 22.4% K rate. And the ground ball, the fly ball, the hard contact, and the slugging hasn't been the best. So taking on this Atlanta Braves team that, for the most part, is pretty right-handed heavy, I will say. They have Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, and that's really it as far as the lefties. And then maybe they'll sneak someone else in there because of the matchup. But you can make an argument for Adbert Alzolay because, this Braves team does strike out quite a bit for the right-hand side of the plate. And the fact that he has a 36.1% K rate against those right-handed bats is pretty impressive. I mean, that's a very high K rate. So on a slate where I could maybe see the Braves being somewhat popular, depending upon the run total that comes out and everything, I think that he could be an intriguing leverage play. Maybe play some Alzolay against those Braves. So he's an intriguing option. Next, you got Luke Weaver taking on the Colorado Rockies, 24.4% K rate overall, 24.7% K rate against righties, and then a 24.1% K rate against lefties. Gives up a ton of hard contact, and typically on a normal slate, this is a guy that would be targeting with bats, but when you look at the Colorado lineup, they're not exactly the most threatening. And they only have a 4.03 implied run total, so I do think that Luke Weaver would be a viable pitching option on this slate today. He has a 7.5K price tag on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 7.7, so he's the second most expensive pitcher on the slate over there, and I think for good reason. Decent spot for him for sure, and I think that he's a viable option if you have to go down there. And then once we get past him, the rest, you're not really dealing with any guys with high K rates or anything. It's a stretch, but it's a small slate, and I definitely think there are some options. Kyle Gibson taking on Boston, I don't think is really a guy that I'm going to want to target. The Boston offense has been pretty good this year. 21.6% K rate overall, 24.5% K rate against righties, and then an 18.3% K rate against lefties. Does a good job of keeping the ball on the ground and everything. Do I think he could go out there and limit the Red Sox? Yes, but do I think he really has the upside for you in tournaments? Not really. I mean, possibly. I have to do some more digging into it as I go along with my research throughout the day. And if he cracks, my cheat sheet or my power rankings, you'll know that I like him for my patrons. But first glance, not really. Outside of the ground ball and fly ball stuff, I don't really think the Boston matchup provides him much. Eric Lauer taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers is an absolute no for me. Really gives up a lot of hard contact. Terrible against right-handed hitting. Gives up a lot of hard contact to lefties as well. He's much better on the ground ball and the fly ball stuff, but terrible against righties, and he has to take on a Dodgers lineup today, which is going to be the clear-cut top stack on the slate today. You look at his numbers, ground ball, fly ball, swing, strike rate, K rate, all is really bad, and that's not going to treat him well against those Dodgers, so not interested there. I do think that Martin Perez could be an interesting flyer option taking on the Texas Rangers. The Rangers have been striking out a ton. We talked about the Milwaukee Brewers striking out a ton and Bauer being the top option because of his K rate. I think that if you're looking for like a discounted guy, it would be probably Martin Perez because of how much the Texas Rangers strike out, especially against left-handed pitching. He has an 18.2% K rate overall, a 17.7% K rate against lefties. But if you look at his numbers against lefties, very impressive in the ground ball, the fly ball, the woba, the hard contact, and the slugging. Very good against those lefties, and the Texas Rangers are a very left-handed heavy lineup. So I think that this is an interesting scenario where you could take advantage of the matchup. He comes in as a 123 favorite. He's 6K on FanDuel over on DraftKings. They got him priced at 5.7. Like, I have no issues with that at all. I think he might be the chalky option over on DraftKings. Bet you a lot of people will be pairing up Perez with Trevor Bauer. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you get him at a discount. He's the best possible matchup you could look at, really, for a left-handed pitcher against the Texas Rangers team that strikes out a lot, has a lot of lefties, and he makes a lot of sense. You got Tomlin expected to be the opener for the long reliever for the Atlanta Braves, and Bryce Wilson's going to be the opener for them. So analyzing, Tomlin, the guy they're going to face the most of the game as far as the Chicago Cubs are concerned, really struggles against right-handed hitting and isn't that much better against left-handed hitting. Gives up a lot of hard contact, and I think for that reason, the Cubs could maybe be a sneaky stack on the slate today. Maybe people see that it's going to be, this Wilson kid as the opener, Bryce Wilson, and get scared off. I don't know. But looking at what he's done so far, he's pitched 4 and 5 innings. So he will go fairly decent into the game, and it'll be interesting to see how that affects ownership and everything. But then they're expected to turn it over to Josh Tomlin. And I do think the Cubs could be a sneaky stack in this one. It'll be interesting to see their implied run total when that comes out. Once Vegas tells us their implied run total, that's probably going to help our odds as far as analyzing that stack. And Antonio Senzatella is a guy that you can't play. He doesn't strike anyone out. He has nothing to offer. Don't play him. With that being said, let's switch over to bats, guys that we're really looking to target. And the first would be Antonio Senzatella taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Has been terrible across the board. The guy on the fly ball stuff's terrible, but he gives up a 473 slugging to righties and a 469 slugging to lefties. Not good. And takes on an Arizona squad today who doesn't have the most threatening lineup, but they have a 4.97 implied run total, and that tells you something. And Senzatella is not good, and the bullpen for the Colorado Rockies isn't good either. So, Pavin Smith, David Peralta, Asdrubal Cabrera, Eduardo Escobar, Stephen Vogt, Nick Ahmed, like all these guys. Favorites would have to be the core of the lineup, of course. David Peralta, Asdrubal Cabrera, Eduardo Escobar in the middle of the order, and then rounding out your stacks with other guys. But, of course, they're going to be the most chalky out of anyone. So, if you're looking for some lower ownership, play the bottom of the lineup. Play the top of the lineup, maybe the first 2 guys, and then just the bottom or something like that. But, I mean, great spot taking on Senzatella, and like I said, we're not scared about that Colorado Rockies bullpen either. Martin Perez taking on the Texas Rangers would be the second guy you're looking to target, but I had already mentioned he's really not the guy that I'm looking to target with left-handed bats, so I'm looking strictly to the right-handed bats on the Rangers side. Any righty that cracks the lineup is an intriguing option, but other than that, not interested. So you got Isaiah Kiner-Fafella, Nick Solak, Adolis Garcia, Jose Trevino, Charlie Culberson, and Eli White. Those guys are interesting options. The lefties you can play, but not nearly as interesting. And honestly, the guy's really good against left-handed hitting. So you're kind of taking a chance there. I mean, sure, Joey Gallo can hit a ball 700 feet any game if Martin Perez decides to hang one, but not going to be a top option. And the next guy, Eric Lauer, the guy that I'm most excited to target, as I'd mentioned. I mean, the ground ball, the fly ball stuff's terrible. The hard contact rate's terrible. Against righties specifically, he's just absolutely terrible. I can't say it enough. Then it's lefties, he's still bad. He has better ground ball and fly ball stuff, but he's actually worse in the slugging. He gives up a 521 slugging compared to a 413 slugging. And it's going to be hard not playing these Dodgers. It's a small slate. They're going to be extremely high owned, and I don't care because it's just like good luck fading them. Justin Turner would be by far my favorite option in the 3 spot, taking on the lefty. He's going to be a tremendous option today. Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Chris Taylor, and AJ Pollock both really crush left-handed pitching, and they're going to be at the bottom of the order. I kind of feel like they're still going to be highly owned because of the spot. I hope not, because those 2 guys I really like. But then you can round out your stacks with the lefties as well, and maybe some lower ownership on those guys. Guys like Corey Seager and Max Muncy, playing those left-handed bats, not going to get as much ownership. And like I said, Eric Lauer still gives up plenty of hard contact to those left-handed bats as well. So that does not scare me targeting him. I don't like those Dodgers bats today. The Chicago Cubs, like I said, Bryce Wilson and Josh Tomlin, kind of the combination of them. The Cubs really have not been good all year long, but on a small slate like this, I feel like maybe this is the one they have a big game and they get some lower ownership, and, you'll be happy with that. Guys like Anthony Rizzo, Wilson Contreras, Chris Bryant, you got to have interest in them, and then you can round out your stacks with Duffy, Hayward, Bodie, Jake Marisnick, and Nico Horner. Interested to see the ownership on those guys. I mean, those 3 guys specifically, if you're stacking the Cubs, you probably got to get in your lineups, Rizzo, Contreras, and Bryant. But then again, you can always do that bottom of the order stack, get them lower owned, maybe throw in a Trevor Bauer in your lineup. He's more on the expensive side with a more expensive stack and go with some cheap Cubs. No issues with that. Kyle Gibson taking on Boston. Ground ball, fly balls, that's been really good. He gives up a 422 slugging to lefties and a 441 slugging to to a 422 slugging to righties and a 441 slugging to lefties. And while he's not exactly going to be like the guy that you look on the sheet and go, wow, I really want to target him, the Red Sox offense is probably one of the best on the slate. We're talking about offenses like the Rockies, the Brewers, the Rangers, those 3, not all too exciting. The Diamondbacks are expected to do good because of their matchup, but even their lineup's not that great. Then you got the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Cubs, and the Braves. So, the Red Sox are up there as far as lineup talent's concerned. And for that reason, I think that makes them, in contention for a stack. Alex Verdugo, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers. The bottom of the lineup's pretty solid as well. They have some guys with some power, and Bobby Dahlbeck, Christian Vasquez, Enrique Hernandez at the top. Alex Verdugo, and the Texas Rangers bullpen's terrible. So if they can just at least work counts against Kyle Gibson, get his pitch count way up in the early going, and then get him out of the game, I like their odds against the Texas bullpen. Adbert Alzolay taking on Atlanta. I had already mentioned really good against right-handed hitting, really bad against lefties. So we would like the Atlanta Braves lefties, most notably Freddie Freeman, of course, and then you have Ozzie Albies as well. But Freddie Freeman going to be a great play on this slate today. So make pretty quick work of that. Of course, you can go ahead and stack up the whole team, but honestly, this guy's numbers have been really, really good against righties. And I'm guessing that Ronald Acuna is going to be very popular on this slate, a big name and a right-handed bat, and I feel not comfortable. It never feels good not playing Ronald Acuna, but I feel like it's a very smart time to not play him if he's going to be at high ownership. Will he go out there and hit 2 home runs? Possibly, but am I willing to take my chances? Absolutely, because this guy's numbers can't get much better against righties. The only issue he has is a walk rate. If he's going to walk Acuna 4 times, so have it. That's not going to beat me in tournaments when he's not hitting home runs. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that's going to be my approach here. If the Braves are going to be popular, I'm probably going to fade the righties. Maybe throw in just a Freddie Freeman in my lineup, which I don't do too frequently, but I am one to promote stacking. However, in this situation, maybe that's the case. Luke Weaver taking on Colorado. He's really not good, but the Colorado Rockies really aren't good either. But maybe a low ownership stack. I mean, you're looking at his numbers across the board, really less than impressive. He gives up a ton of hard contact. The worst on the slate as far as hard contact is concerned. Against righties, he gives up a ton of hard contact, and against lefties, he does as well. And the Rockies aren't expected to perform well, and I think you can get them lower owned, and maybe they're, the stack of the slate tonight. Honestly, Tapia, Trevor Story, Ryan McMahon, CJ Cron at the top of the order. They have some talent. I mentioned maybe you can play Luke Weaver, but I also think you can play the bats against him. And honestly, for a guy that's this bad in the hard contact and everything, and a team with this low of a total, it just kind of feels like a spot that you should be playing if you're a tournament player. Like, if you're playing multiple lineups, it just makes sense to be playing some Rocky stacks. And lastly, Trevor Bauer taking on these Milwaukee Brewers. Not a guy we'd like to target, but on a small slate if you're trying to get some ownership. You look at Trevor Bauer's numbers against the lefties. He has a 434 slugging, giving up a terrible on the ground ball and fly ball stuff. But while he does strike them out at a 28% clip, he can give up some hard contact to lefties. And one of the smartest things you could do in a situation like this is to play some lefty bats against the most popular pitcher on the slate and hope they maybe hit a few solo shots or something. And I definitely think that's a viable option tonight. So I just want to round out the breakdown by saying that is definitely a possibility. play some bats against Trevor Bauer. You know, he's clearly the top pitching option on the slate. I had mentioned that, but some interesting tournament leverage situation there for you as well. And with that being said, that's all for my breakdown. I got to give you guys my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today, without a doubt, is going to be Justin Turner taking on Eric Lauer. As I mentioned, gives up a lot of hard contact to righties, and Justin Turner absolutely mashes left-handed pitching. A .413 slugging, 41.3% hard contact rate, 314 WOBA, 41.5% fly ball rate, and 36.4% ground ball rate for Eric Lauer. Not going to get the job done, and when you look at what he throws on average, you're looking at about a 91 and 92 mile-an-hour fastball. How Justin Turner features against that pitch, a 500 ISO with a 663 WOBA, absolutely mashes. And if Lauer's going to go to a secondary pitch, he'll go to the cutter first and then the curveball, and Turner crushes those pitches as well. Looking at his numbers against the cutter, a 368 ISO with a 462 WOBA, and the curveball, once again, crushes. A 391 ISO with a 454 WOBA. Love this spot for Justin Turner. He's going deep tonight, so get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Eric Lauer taking on Justin Turner. Love Turner in the spot. Get him in your lineups, and that is all from me and this one. If you enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And then check out my premium content link below in the description. You're going to get access to a lot of powerful tools that are going to help you become a better MLB DFS player and help you profit more money. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.